morning, students. Let us start. Yesterday we discussed about several theories of intelligence, particularly those theories which we include as a factor theory of intelligence. If you remember, the first theory which we discussed was Spearman's two-factor theory of intelligence. Second one was Thurston's group factor theory of intelligence. Third one was Guilford theory of structural intellect. And fourth one was Cattell's fluid and crystallized intelligence. Now I want to raise some issues which the most of the researchers in field who are working in the field of intelligence have raised this issue. The issue is whether intelligence is a single characteristics, whether intelligence is based on a single factor, as Spearman talked about. He said that for every kind of mental activities, we apply the G factor, that is a general factor. And with the help of certain one or the two or the three specific factors, we perform all kinds of mental and cognitive activities. For example, if you show it with in a pictorial form, it will be like this G factor is common. This is S1, specific factor 1. This is S2, specific factor 2. So for every kind of mental activities, for any kind of cognitive activities, G factor is common. So Spearman defines intelligence with a single characteristics. But this issue was challenged. And one thing more, to justify his theoretical approach, Spearman also said that when we took the correlations of the scores obtained by the mental ability test through the mental ability test, if correlations are high, we can easily say that it is because of this G and not specific factors. But there are another group of psychologists. They are in contrast with the Spearman's single characteristic approach of intelligence. They say that intelligence is composed of many different mental abilities. It is composed of many different components. And more or less, all these different components, abilities, functions independently, more or less independently. They are independent to each other. So, they want to convey the view that it is not only the contribution of a single factor, as Spearman proposed, but it is the composition of several different mental abilities which helps and contributes in performing different kinds of mental or cognitive activities. The supporter of this approach was one of the prominent names and the theory which I discussed yesterday, Thurston's group factor theory. If you remember, I told you that Thurston proposed 7 distinct distinctive primary mental abilities, and he said that these group of primary mental abilities are the basis through which the individual or the person performs different kind of mental activities. Among these distinctive features, prominent ones are the verbal ability, numerical ability, spatial ability, memory, reasoning, word fluency, etc. So, he is the supporter of this group factor approach. Now, the question is, what the modern theorists of intelligence think about it? What kind of theory up to date is prevailed? Now, the most of the modern researchers who are working in the field of intelligence, and the theory which they have proposed are in between these two extremes. Their theories are somewhere in between two extremes of single factor approach and group factor approach. They said that to the certain extent, no doubt, Spearman's G factor applies in cognitive or the mental activities, and for some other kind of mental activities, the different distinctive mental abilities applies. So they do not take the extreme view, but their approach is moderated. They took the middle approach. And among these prominent theorists, today I am going to talk about their theories. They are Howard Gardner, who proposed the theory of multiple intelligence theory, and another theory was proposed by Sternberg, Robert Sternberg, who proposed his theory in 1985.
Gardner is a professor of psychology in Department of Education at Harvard University. Gardner raised a very important point regarding the intelligence theories. Gardner said that most of the researchers in the field of intelligence, when they started studying about intelligence, they primarily focused on the normal children, normal level of intelligence. But more important thing is that a theorist, a researcher must attempt to study the intelligence levels of extreme groups. So gifted one or the gifted child who comes in the list of genius are very, very superior ones, as well as those one who scores very low in their IQ. In the lowest groups, borderline or below to borderline groups of moron, imbecile, also they must be studied, so that one could only be able to know about the intelligence, the actual status of the intelligence. He proposed his theory in 1983, and first time he proposed that there are 7 separate mental abilities which contribute in cognitive and mental functioning. Now, what were these separate mental abilities? I just write it down. First is linguistic, verbal ability. Second one is logical, mathematical ability. Third one is spatial oblique visual ability. Fourth one is musical or rhythmic ability. Fifth one is interpersonal ability. Sixth one is intrapersonal ability. Seventh one is bodily kinesthetic ability. So these 7 separate mental abilities were initially developed by Howard Gardner in 1983 when first time he framed his theory. In 1999 and specifically in 2019, he included 2 more separate mental abilities in defining the intelligence. That was naturalistic ability and existentialist and moral ability. This moral ability was particularly added in 2009 ability. In most of the books, generally we find about Gardner's theory only the 7 factors, but later on still he is doing research in the field of intelligence. He added naturalistic and existentialist and as well as the moral ability. Now, I would like to describe one by one and will try to show you how these separate factors of intelligence are important. First is the linguistic verbal ability. I will also tell you why did Gardner added these 2 ones, naturalistic and existentialistic. If you just see, there are certain abilities which are very common if you go through the thrusters theory of intelligence, you will find that the first one, second one, and third one, these three factors are common. But the factors which are purely newer one are musical ability, interpersonal, intrapersonal, body kinesthetic, and then naturalistic and existentialist. Linguistic verbal ability means the persons who score high on this ability are capable in dealing with words, sentences, grammar, they are fluent in speech, language. So, all types of mental activities which involve verbal language and this kind of activities are the part of this linguistic and verbal ability. So, most of the intelligence tests prior to the Gardners were focused on this linguistic and verbal approach, verbal ability as one of the prominent measure of intelligence. Gardner did not deny it. Gardner accepted this one also, but also added some other factors which he considers are equally important. Come to the second one. This one is logical mathematical ability. Logic and mathematics, reasoning and mathematics has a very direct relationship with each other. The person who scores high on this mental ability are very fluent in dealing with the mathematical calculations, numerical abilities, and various types of logical are they are able to do the abstract level of thinking. They feel very comfort in utilizing the symbols, rules, regulations, formulas, calculations. So they are efficient in their calculating aspect, which covers this logical and mathematical ability. So all kinds of abstract level thinking, all kinds of reasoning, and including the particularly mathematical ones are the part of this logical and mathematical ability. Then comes this third one, spatial visual ability. Thurston has also talked about spatial abilities. Those one who are efficient in this mental ability can very easily visualize the space, can very easily visualize and analyze the qualities and characteristics of the space situations. They are very proficient in doing work, particularly in the field of say map reading. They are very good player of chess because they are very easily visualize the things. They are very good architect. Some of them are very good artists because they can do things, picturize things very easily. So most famous filmmakers who are very efficient in making the situations and dealing with the situations, evaluating the situations, visualizing the situations come under this category of mental ability. Then come to the musical or the rhythmic ability. This ability is a specific type of ability, and first time Gardner included and considered it as a separate mental ability. Gardner himself has given an example of his own friend in describing about this musical ability. He said that one of his friend was a very good musician. He was able to play piano and all the rhythms, rhymes, and he he has control over the pitch and all these things without having any proper training. So that is why he included musical ability as a separate mental ability. You might have seen several people, street singers, or there are several ones. Sometimes we see the blind beggars who sing very well without having any proper training. So that is a different type of mental abilities. So these people are having this musical ability. You can give a lot of number of examples regarding these things. Born singer, sometimes we use the term that he is a born singer. Without having any training, he can. The same thing is being told about the Muhammad Rafi, the great singer of his time. Next is the interpersonal ability. He keep it in personal abilities, both interpersonal ability and intrapersonal ability. So the person who is having this kind of ability very easily deals other people, very easily understand other people's, their behavior, their intentions, their aims, and can be able to develop relations with them very easily, very frequently. Most of the, say, this public relations officers, even doctors, or some other people, salesmen, marketing executives, marketing officers, they come in this category of mental ability. So they very easily understand the nature, temperament of the other people, and they very easily develop relations with them, and they get success in their job. So this is called interpersonal ability. Then intrapersonal ability. Intrapersonal ability, it deals with oneself, means ability to understand oneself, ability to understand one's worth, one's weaknesses, one's plus point, one's minus points. So those one who are having the high level of this intrapersonal ability can be able to judge oneself very correctly. They are never in dilemma about their ability, about their efficiency, about their technical efficiency in dealing with other people or dealing with relations with other people. They are very much clear what is their worth, what are their weaknesses, and they plan their activities, plan their programs accordingly. So these two comes under the personal ability aspect. So interpersonal ability, it deals with understanding and dealing with other people's, their intentions, their behavior and other things. Intrapersonal ability, it deals with oneself and one's own weaknesses, one's own strength and other things. Then come to the bodily kinesthetic ability. Gardner says that you cannot compare and you cannot say, you cannot assign a person as having the high level of intelligence only on the basis of his score on verbal intelligence or linguistic intelligence. He said that I have seen so many Olympic players, athletes particularly, are the gymnasts who perform very well. That is not only due to the training. Gardner himself raised the question that if a gymnast performs very well, I remember in the around 1973 or 72, in that time Olympics, Nadia was a girl. She was hardly 15 to 16 years old, and she first time scored 10 oblique 10, 10 out of 10. So, was it only due to the training, or it is something which is there herself in the participant? So, I just show you a picture about which the Gardner has raised the question and showed it. If you can see it, Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence views performance such as that shown here as involving a high level of bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Now, this is a kind of intelligence. Gardner says that this level of performance was only due to the training, or it is something different ability to get the ability to get along well with others. So this kind of ability in Gardner's term is different to the others one. That is why he included this bodily kinesthetic ability. And the persons who scores high in this ability are the most famous runners, athletes. They are very good swimmers. They are very good dancers. They can dance very well. Aerobics, they can play very well. And different types of activities in which body movements are required. So all those types of persons who are very good in their dance, in running, in swimming, are doing any body movements, performing it, the most of the gymnast and others also. That is due to this bodily kinesthetic ability, and Gardner keep this ability, maintain this ability as a separate mental ability of the person. Now come to the naturalistic ability, which later on Gardner added in his theory. He said there are certain children, or the number of children, who always prefer and love to outdoor activities. They are very proficient, they are very efficient in their outdoor activities. They always like excursions, tours, and field activities, field work. They like animals activities, animals performances. And we have also seen several individuals, several persons who have involved their life in animal studies and animal activities. So, those ones who have the special abilities related to the nature are called the having the naturalistic ability. They come in this group. And the last one is this existentialist and moral ability. Gardner says that this kind of abilities are there in the people because when they consider mankind, human relations, human feeling at empathetic level, up to the level of the person, up to the level of the people. Suppose if you I just give one example of this kind. During this lockdown period, majority of laborers are coming from the metro cities to the UP districts and the Bihar's several districts. They are facing lot of troubles regarding their food, lodgings and their transportation. If as a person you think about themselves at empathetic level, when you feel their pain, problems as your own one, this kind of feeling will arise. So they always love the freedom of the human beings. They always prefer the choice of the human beings. because of a particular setting or the environment. So this is very much influenced by the existentialist psychologist, which is a newer approach of psychology, humanistic and existentialist. So, and similarly he added into 2009 this moral ability, means the ability to follow the mores of the society, laws, moral laws of the society, conforming behavior. So this comes in last one, this existential and moral ability. So this is how Gardner tried his level best to define intelligence. This is a very modern approach of intelligence, and he emphatically said that for considering the intelligence level, it is the verbal, linguistic, or the mathematical abilities should not only be the consideration, but these other factors are also important, and we cannot ignore it. So that's all about this multiple theory of intelligence. Right. Now come to the next one proposed by Robert Sternberg. This theory is known as triarchic theory of intelligence. This theory is also a modern theory. This theory was proposed by Sternberg in 1985, and with his collaborators he did more work in 1999 also. So this theory is primarily based on information processing approach. It is known as information processing theory of intelligence. Studied, I told you that in the list of process oriented theories, the Sternberg theories come in this category of process oriented theory, or it comes under the information processing theory of intelligence. This theory holds that there are three components of human intelligence. These three components are: first, componential intelligence or componential ability. Second one is experiential ability or the component, and third one is contextual intelligence or ability. So componential intelligence, experiential intelligence, and third one as contextual intelligence. Componential intelligence emphasizes the role of information processing in intelligence. The person who score high on this component of intelligence are very analytical. It is also called componential intelligence or analytical approach. Analytical intelligence, you can say analytical. Here experiential are also called as creative, and contextual intelligence, they are also called as practical intelligence. practical intelligence. So the person who score high on componential intelligence are very analytical in nature. They score high marks on various academic standard test who measures academic standards, and most of the meritorious students of the class, they come under this category. So the students who scored highest mark in their classes come in this componential list. They are very analytical, they are very critical in their nature, and they do their level best in their academics. So that is why most of the academicians fall in this group. You can say that there are some professors whose academic career is very sound, so they also come in this component aspect. Now this is, there are three other components which come in componential intelligence. These three are, say, knowledge acquiring component, second is performance component, and third is metacognitive component. In knowledge acquiring component, the persons try to acquire the maximum knowledge regarding their subject matter, their syllabus, and their related to their academics. So this component shows the works as a knowledge acquiring component. Another one is performance component. It is based on the performance of the individuals, the persons. Through this component, they try to solve the various problems which comes in their academics, and they follow certain strategies. They frame certain strategies, methods, techniques to acquire maximum knowledge about the subjects. Third one is metacognitive component. This component is primarily concerned with the programming of the several strategies and techniques for getting success in life. So this is called metacognitive components. So all these three components works together in componential intelligence part. Now come to the next one, which was experiential component of intelligence. Now this experiential, the person who score high on experiential component are very creative in their nature. They are having high level of insight. They are having the ability to formulate the ideas, combine the ideas, reorganize the perceptual field, and reorganizing the problematic situations. So that is why they are called the creators. They are creative thinkers. They have ability to create new things, something original, something different with others one. So most of the scientists, most of the famous psychologists, or most of the famous economists, almost all the Nobel Prize winners, they come in this category. For example, Einstein, Archimedes, Freud, Raman, Homi Jahangir Bhabha, APJ Kalam as a missile man of India, and several others are all the Nobel laureates. They come in this category who score high in experiential component of this triarchic theory. Third one is contextual. Contextual component. This contextual components, the persons who score high are very practical one, very practical type of people. Practical type of people means what? The people, the person who very easily adapt with the new situations, with the situations which are challenging for them and the situations which are alarming. So they are very efficient in dealing with new situations, new context, problematic situations, and they very easily solve it. They try to resolve it, whatever the problem is. Most of the professionals and the businessmen, they come under this category. Say like this professionals or even most of famous business group, Ambani group, Mukesh Ambani or the Adani groups or Bill Gates or others, Tata groups you might take as an example, or several others businessman groups who have achieved within a very limited time. Are the professionals? There are several professionals nowadays working and they are earning lot of money, like this Subhash Chandra or Shiv Kheda, like several mentors are also there. Professionals who motivators also come in this group. They are such a people who resolves problems very efficiently. They are very efficient people in resolving them. That is why it is called that they are very practical in their life. They watch the situation and they accordingly switch over themselves. Whatever the need is, according to need of the hour, they change themselves to manage themselves and get their work done and get success in life. So these are the three major components of intelligence proposed by Sternberg. Well, this theory is itself something different to the others one, but there are certain criticisms against this theory too. So we can only say at this stage that this theory is at this time at its initial stage, and time has to come when it will come out with more maturity and with more other findings. So that's all about this Sternberg theory of intelligence. So thank you very much.